Hey guys, how's it going? So someone left a comment on my previous video to read their chart. So I've gone through their chart. I don't know this person. I've gone through their chart, the D1, the D9. I've seen some of the other divisional charts as well. I've seen the time periods, okay? So this is my interpretation based on the planets, the planetary placements, the time periods. I personally don't know this person, and if you feel that this resonates with you, or if there's some discrepancy or something that you don't agree with, also leave a comment down below. All right. So when I was reading the chart, I can say that this is a very emotional chart. Sometimes the universe isolates you, okay, so you can hear your own soul, okay, without noise. And Saturn's period, especially Saturn Rahu period, it tends to do this, okay, not because life hates you or God hates you or trying to punish you or anything, but because eventually your soul will get tired of this emotional pretending. It will get tired of carrying other people, or carrying all the responsibility of other people. Tired of this fake pretending, fake peace. Tired of relationships that drain you, okay? And honestly, this chart explains the process perfectly. So, welcome to this YouTube channel. Here we break down, the Vedic astrology, psychology. Again, not just you'll get money on Tuesday 4 p.m. because Jupiter blinked, So we talk about why life feels like the way it feels. And if you want your own chart reading, you can leave a comment, your full date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, and one question. So if you have that one question, it kind of helps me narrow things down, okay? This person didn't leave a question, so I'm just going to do a general reading. So it's going to be all over the place, okay? But if you leave a question and you leave some details, and I would be able to get into details, okay? So now, this reading for someone who left a comment. He's born on 15th June 1979, 2:55 p.m. Coventry, UK. And this chart is honestly one of the most psychologically deep charts I've analyzed. Well, one of them. Okay, because this is not a superficial personality chart. Okay, it's quite deep. Okay, life repeatedly transforms the soul through emotional pressure. Okay, if I had to say something about this chart, it's like a pressure cooker. Okay, it's constantly under pressure. Okay, and the person already kind of recognizes the Saturn influence, the intuitiveness, the sense before the Saturn effects come on. So This usually happens when Saturn transits are hitting the person psychologically. Okay, anyway, now let's break down the chart. Okay, so first, this is a Virgo ascendant chart. So Virgo ascendants, they live through their nervous system. Okay, everything gets analyzed, everything gets mentally processed, emotionally processed. Okay, they try to understand their feelings intellectually first. Okay, before they understand emotions. Okay, so this person has Hasta rising. So Hasta is a constellation, is a nakshatra. So it creates this observational intelligence. Okay, these people notice everything. They observe. They are very. They look at. They observe. So I can say, tiny behavior changes, tone shifts, energy shifts, facial expressions. Okay. Externally, they appear very composed. Internally, their brain is running this hundreds of investigations simultaneously. Okay, someone who replies, okay, yeah, sure. And then this Virgo ascendant immediately, oh, interesting. The energy changed, something happened, So they don't really verbalize much, but internally, well, they may say it, but internally is times 100. Okay, absolute FBI emotional department. Okay. Now Mercury becomes the most important planet because Mercury rules the ascendant and the 10th house of the career. And Mercury sits strongly in Gemini in the 10th house with the Sun. Okay, this is a very intelligent chart. Very strong communication. It gives, this combination will give teaching ability, speaking ability, writing, counseling, psychology. Okay, it can influence through their words. So whatever this person says, people will naturally remember. Okay, they will always recall what this person said. Okay, because Mercury is in its own sign in the 10th, which creates intellectual visibility. Very, very intelligent person. Okay. If you ask me career-wise, this person is not designed for emotionally dead, repetitive work forever. Okay, this person's mind needs stimulation. The soul needs meaning. Okay, this person could easily succeed in teaching, communication, coaching, counseling, okay, psychology, psychiatrist. If you're a doctor, you can. If you're a doctor and you want a subspecialty or a specialty that you want to go into, psychiatry would be the best. Okay, because this chart repeatedly shows the healer type personality. Okay, so let's get into the emotional core of the chart. Okay, this is where things become really, really heavy. So Moon is in Aquarius, the 6th house, okay, with Ketu. this combination explains most of the emotional exhaustion. Moon in the 6th will create anxiety cycles, nervous system stressing out, emotional fatigue, emotional overthinking, feeling mentally burned out. The Ketu joins the moon. Now, when this combination happens, there is emotional detachment. You will feel emotionally disconnected sometimes. You will feel misunderstood, isolated, emotionally numb sometimes. Okay, because it's in Aquarius. There's a lifelong feeling of, I understand people deeply, but I don't feel understood myself. That's very Aquarius Ketu moon, okay? Then we have this constellation is called Shatabisha, which adds another layer on top of this. So this constellation is deeply connected with isolation, psychology, karmic healing, spiritual searching, and it often creates accidental healers. People will naturally open up to them emotionally, okay, but internally you will quietly carry this emotional exhaustion. Now, this is where things get very, very intense. There's a yoga in this chart. Okay, it's called the Kimadruma Yoga. So it is one of the strongest emotional signatures in this chart. So if you read about this yoga, Kemadruma yoga, go online, search about it. People love to dramatize yoga too much, okay? It does not mean cursed life. It does not mean, you will, if you Google or search about it, it's you will see what's going on with this yoga, okay? Psychologically, it creates emotional loneliness. So the feeling that you will have with this yoga is, even around people, sometimes internally you will feel empty. And honestly, many people with this yoga will become spiritually deeper because of that emptiness. Because eventually the soul stops searching externally and starts searching internally, because you're feeling empty on the inside, no matter what you do on the outside. So you internalize, you go in, you become this meditative person. Okay, there's a karmic reason for that. I don't know. Okay, Saturn and Rahu together in the 12th house. This is huge. The 12th house rules your subconscious mind, your sleep, your losses, spiritual detachment, isolation, your inner life, okay? And then Saturn creates loneliness, and it creates lessons. It creates this delays, karmic delays. It creates heaviness psychologically. It creates maturity, with time. It teaches you things. You become more mature. and then Rahu amplifies the amplifier, everything. So when it sits like this together in the 12th house, it creates overthinking, anxiety loops, constant anxiety, emotional obsession. Okay? You're feeling restless spiritually. You probably often struggle with switching your brain off, even at rest, even during sleep. You may be lying in bed, but your mind is just constantly running, thinking, okay? So it won't stop. So it's even more important now because you're running the main dasha is called the Mahadasha of Saturn. And then the Antardasha is Rahu. So you can imagine you're going through this period, basically your mind constantly running, your mind constantly on a loop, anxiety and all that. Okay, it is one of the heaviest psychological combinations possible for this chart. Okay, this is because the Saturn Rahu conjunction is getting activated directly through the dasha. So the time period is of this placement. And this is what it is now. You're going through this. So what happens here is the old emotional identity begins to collapse. Okay, suddenly you will feel withdrawn socially. You will feel emotionally detached. You lose tolerance for fakeness, fake people, you know. You question purpose. You will feel emotionally different from who you used to be. You feel spiritually exhausted, okay? And you will question relationships. And honestly, that's exactly what Saturn Rahu period do. They destroy emotional illusions slowly. Very, very slowly, okay? So you need to be very, very patient during this period. It's like uninstalling old emotional software, and it's very slow. Like uninstalling old emotional software on Windows 98. Okay, it's very, very slow. And Pisces moon transits, it affects the chart emotionally, makes it even heavier. So this is why the person recognizes the Saturn theme immediately in the Pisces video I made. So because this is because of the whole Pisces moon thing, because Saturn is touching the deep subconscious karma right now. And this is not some random sadness. This is a karmic restructuring. Very important difference. Let's talk about your relationships, because this chart is extremely relationship sensitive emotionally. Venus is strong in Taurus in the 9th house. Beautiful placement. Okay, it gives you love for beauty, aesthetics, spirituality, emotional sincerity, artistic appreciation, and you heal through beauty. Okay, environment matters. Like, environment really matters for you psychologically. So music, art, nature, calmness. So all will stabilize the emotional system here. Okay, but there's another issue. This chart gives too much emotional, it gives too much emotionally sometimes. Okay, and this happens especially in relationships. So I saw the D9 chart and this confirms that. This is your Navamsha chart, or a D9 chart is Cancer rising with the Moon, Mars, emotional combination. So the soul came into this life to learn emotional boundaries. Okay, not emotional coldness, boundaries. Big difference. Okay, because you absorb your partner emotions deeply, sometimes over sacrificing emotionally. Okay, sometimes you stay too long trying to emotionally heal people. Okay, until Saturn, which is in your chart, it says stop, no more, please. And then emotional detachment suddenly happens, very suddenly, because Saturn eventually forces self-respect. Okay, now financially and professionally, this chart improves with age a lot. You have exalted Jupiter in your 11th house, which is extremely protective. Okay, this is important. This is not a bad chart. Emotionally heavy, yes. Bad chart, no. Exalted Jupiter will repeatedly save this chart during difficult periods. Okay, the Jupiter aspects communication, relationships, creativity. So eventually your wisdom, your knowledge develops through suffering. Okay, and you become wiser emotionally, deeper, spiritually deep, stronger psychologically, harder to manipulate emotionally. Okay, so let's talk about the timeline, because current period is extremely important. Saturn Mahadasha, the main period is Saturn, which is going to continue until 2029. So the overall life lesson right now is you need to mature, you need to set boundaries. Emotionally, you need to be realistic. You need to detach from illusion. But the heaviest emotional pressure is mainly during the current Rahu Antardasha. So Rahu and Saturn, which is going to last till January 2027. Okay, January 2027, that's when the Rahu period ends, but Saturn is still going to be there. Okay, but the combination Saturn-Rahu is the worst period, emotionally, internally. Okay, please hang in there. And honestly, 2024 until early mid 2026, probably, I'm guessing, based on this, probably felt like one of the deepest transformative, psychological transformative periods in your life. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, do leave a comment. It probably felt emotionally exhausting, spiritually confusing. You probably had deep introspection, identity shifts, karmic relationship lessons. Okay, But after January 2027, everything will change significantly because Jupiter Antardasha begins just a sub period. So it's going to be Saturn Jupiter period, and your Jupiter is exalted, and this is going to be a huge relief. Okay, this period will bring emotional support, better friendships. It'll bring like emotional healing, inner stability will return. Okay, it's like finally breathing properly again, emotionally, after holding this tension for years and years and years. So I can say, based on this, the biggest lesson your soul is learning, the biggest lesson your soul wants to learn, or you're here to learn, is not everybody deserves the unlimited emotional access to you. Very important, because this chart, every division I've gone through all the divisional charts, and it shows the same thing: the tendency to emotionally overgive. And Saturn is currently correcting that pattern, painfully but necessarily. It needs to be done. Okay, this person is not destroying you. Okay, it's removing this emotional version of yourself. Okay, so it's removing fear, it's removing illusions, it's removing this emotional dependency. And yes, the process will feel lonely. Okay, but eventually it creates emotional wisdom. Okay, it will become strong. Your chart, I'm saying, your chart will become strong after this whole transformative phase. Okay, you'll become much more intelligent, much wiser. You'll be able to manage your emotions well. You're going to be much stronger. Okay, and thank you again for leaving a comment, trusting me with your chart reading, and take care. I hope you all the best, and stay hang in there. You'll be fine. Okay, just hang in there. Another half year, 6 months left. 6 months left. You'll be feeling much better. If you guys want your own chart analyzed, please leave your date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, and one question. And I'll see you guys in the next video.